Be part of our brand. Leadership for God and country.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Education Telescope on Leadership TV. I am your host, Mariam Rabiu, and here are the news for today. Result falsification, JAM sanctions more candidates, ends Mesoma's probe. The Registrar Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, says the board has concluded its investigations on the case of a student in Anambra State, Nyesom Ejikeme, who was accused of fraudulently inflating her 2023 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examinations results. The JAMB registrar made this disclosure in a transcript sent to their correspondent from Windhoek, Namibia on Tuesday. He said, "The truth is that JAMB has concluded its investigation on Imesoma's core falsification matter. She was not the only one caught. They just have others. They have others chosen not to go out." JAMB registrar also disclosed that the earlier spoke with a former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, on Ejikeme's matter and told her that it was a high-level scam. The embattled 19-year-old Anambra student has been in the news following allegations of UTME's score forgery. JAMB had released a results slip which it confirmed as authentic, showing that Umesoma's score in the 2023 UTME was 249 instead of 362 she had been parading. JAMB spokesperson Fabian Benjamin, in a statement early Tuesday, described the result being flaunted by Imesoma as obsolete. Benjamin also responded to a Monday video of Imesoma defending herself. The JAM spokesperson, who appeared on a television show, questioned Ejikeme's role in the alleged forgery. With Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo setting up a committee of inquiry into the matter, the JAM spokesperson said the exam body wants to be a part of the process. NAPTEP conducts exam for 54,000 candidates. About 54,000 candidates are sitting for the 2023 ongoing National Business and Technical Examination Board certificate examination nationwide. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, David Adejo, who monitored the conduct of the examination in Abuja, blamed some state governors for the low enrollment in the ongoing National Business and Technical Examination Board certificate examination. While monitoring the examination at the Government Science Technical, Adejo advised Nigerians to embrace technical education where they will use the skills acquired to earn a living instead of depending on government jobs after graduation from school. Adejo encouraged state governors to be committed in paying for registered students while expressing hope that with the new set of governors, there will be a remarkable change in payments for the examination. The permanent secretary, who expressed satisfaction at the conduct of the exam, said though the examination started late due to the early downpour, it was a success. Speaking on improvement in the country's technical education, he said that we must continue to embrace technical education as a nation, which was as a means to guarantee the future of youth. Parents and other stakeholders to let children get informed that the world had moved from white collar jobs to skills and hence embrace skills. Also speaking, the Chief Executive Officer of NAPTEP, Professor Ifeoma Abanihe, said that the enrollment for the 2023 examination came low to 54,000 as against its 8,000 in 2022. She commended the present administration for introducing student loan while also clamoring for the introduction of scholarship for technical education students. She said the scholarships would encourage more students to go into technical education. Enugu government to shut down schools, markets, observing seats at home. Enugu state government yesterday initiated a bold move to stop the one-week sit-at-home announced by the Simeon Ekpa-led Biafra agitators in the southeast. Ekpa had last week ordered a sit-at-home in the region beginning Monday, July 3, as part of measures to pressure the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Dissociated itself from the order, urging people to go about their legitimate businesses, stressing that those behind the order are not members of the group. Nevertheless, several schools and businesses in Enugu were shut yesterday while few vehicles plied roads, obviously in compliance with the order. Some schools had notified parents of their intention to comply with the order and asked that the parents keep their children at home. Markets and offices were also closed. Disturbed by the development, the state government announced its readiness to deal with institutions that comply with the order. A statement from the Secretary of the State Government (SSG), Professor Chidebere Onya, said the attention of the Enugu State Government has been drawn to reports on social media that proprietors of private schools in the state are sending messages to their pupils and students not to come to school on account of the illegal one-week sit-at-home allegedly declared by faceless non-state actors. U.S. schools honors Nigerian Okafor for record-shattering grade. Science Park High School at Newark in New Jersey, US, has honored a Nigerian graduate, Achunike Okafor, for his extraordinary performance. According to Tap Into Network, an online newspaper, Okafor received an international baccalaureate diploma with a record-shattering 4.625 grade point average from the school. His GPA is the highest among Newark's 2,649 graduates in the class of 2023 and highest ever for the city public school district. It earned him more than 40 scholarship offers, many from the nation's top universities: Columbia, Cornell, Dartmouth, Duke, Princeton, Penn State, Stanford, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, University of Southern California, and Rutgers. The 18-year-old plans to attend Harvard University to pursue a neuroscience degree. Superintendent of Schools Roger Leon acknowledged Achinike's exceptional performance as a source of pride for the Science Park High, the school district, and the Newark community. Achinike Okafor said his son's achievements are also a source of family pride. Amnesty program settles scholarship tuition of 3,000 students. The Presidential Amnesty Program (PAP) said it has paid for the full scholarship and tuition and in-training allowance of 3,000 students from the Niger Delta region within Nigeria and abroad for the 2022-2023 academic session. Preston Akpor, the SA to the interim administrator of PAP, Major General Barry Ndiomu, retired, said this in a statement. Akpor described as mischievous, uncharitable, and ungodly the insinuations that the current dispensation is yet to deploy delegates under the scholarship program. He also reiterated efforts by the PAP to launch a trust fund to boost the formal education scene of the PAP. Akpor said that instead of cancelling the inconclusive scholarship awarded by his predecessor and initiating a fresh one as most persons would have done, General Ndiomu has rather sanitized and adopted the process with payment of all fees of 1,700 PAP students spread across tertiary institutions of learning across the country and an additional 55 delegates going into their first year in various universities in different countries. He urged the public to ignore the claims of mischief makers, maintaining that despite a surfeit of misinformation against Ndiomu, who assumed office on September 19th last year, He has sanitized the program despite inheriting several liabilities ranging from unpaid scholarship awards, uncompleted vocational training centers, non-formal education programs, and a huge financial burden to contend with. He explained that since Inyodomu came on board, he has strategically cleared all inherited debts through tactical financial models, which included those that were owed to critical contractors and agencies as well as scholarship debts. More reactions trailed near Soma's alleged JAMB falsification. Reactions have continued to pour in following the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board 3-year ban on Ejikeme Nyesoma, who allegedly claimed to have scored 362 in the 2023 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination result, making her the outstanding candidate. President of Anglican Girls Secondary School Anambra was recently celebrated and awarded a 3 million naira scholarship by Innocent Chukwuma, chairman of Innocent Vehicles Manufacturing Company, following her declaration. But JAMB on Sunday issued a statement to refute the claim, saying that the results being paraded by Nyesoma was manipulated and that her actual score was 249. The board has since withdrawn her results and barred her for 3 years from participating in the examination. The, following the decision, some have called the decision without due investigation, while others urge it to be probed and prosecute the victim if she is found guilty. A professor at the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, Saliu Adamu Dadai, said the issue of faking results is becoming rampant in Nigeria. But the youth wing of Ohanese Indigo Worldwide yesterday urged JAMB to bring Ms. Nyesom Ejikeme's alleged result falsification case to rest by testing her with another examination. The financial secretary of the Ohanese Youth Wing, Mazi Chinedu Othorgwa, called on the examination board to put the matter to rest by resetting the examination for Ms. Ejikeme. Author Ugwa described the situation as embarrassing to the candidate, JAMB and Nigeria in general, and called on the board to immediately and that of the nation. Mayaki takes over as NUC Executive Secretary. The former Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, Professor Abubakar Rashid, has formally handed over to the most senior officer in the commission, Mr. Chris Mayaki. At the handover ceremony in Abuja, Rashid said he had secured necessary approval from President Bola Tinubu to step down with effect from June 30, 2023. He said that the new executive secretary would be steering the affairs of the commission in acting capacity until the appointment of a substantive secretary by the president. Rashid appreciated the counter-based unions, especially the Academic Staff Union of Universities, and their support received from sister agencies throughout his tenure. When asked of any case of corruption after his resignation, he said he resigned voluntarily from the office and not because of fear of alleged corruption. Responding, the acting executive secretary Chris Mayaki commended the outgone boss, saying his achievements were unprecedented for all to see. Mayaki promised to do his best to consolidate the good work of Rashid while counting on the support of staff and management of the commission and by extension the academic community of the country. Federal government to create Chinese language faculties in Nigerian universities. The federal government has expressed its desire to create Chinese language in Nigerian universities, assuring the People's Republic of China of Nigeria's commitment to sustain bilateral relations between both. Secretary of the Federation (SGF) George Akume stated this when he received the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Hu Jianchun, in Abuja. According to a statement from the office of the SGF, Akume said Nigeria has been enjoying strong bilateral relations with China in the areas of infrastructure, trade, and agriculture, among others. He therefore solicited their support to invest more in Nigeria to enable the present administration to accomplish its renewed hope agenda. The SGF assured that the cultural cooperation between Nigeria and the People's Republic of China through cultural exchange would also be sustained. According to him, this would help in cementing the relationship between both countries. The House of The House of Representatives probe alleged abuse of 2.3 trillion naira education tax by Tech Fund. The House of Representatives yesterday set up an ad hoc committee to investigate an alleged abuse of 2.3 trillion naira generated from the tertiary education tax by the Tertiary Education Trust Fund from 2011 to 2013. The committee is to report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. The House took the action following the adoption of a motion to carry out the probe, sponsored by Olusola Fachoba, David Four, and Zachary Nyampa. The Green Chamber of the National Assembly recalled that the tertiary education tax was introduced as a special corporate tax to provide specialized funding for tertiary education in Nigeria, including capital projects, research and development, among others. It said the tax was introduced following the repealing of Education Tax Act, which established the Education Trust Fund to impose education tax on Nigerian companies at the rate of 2.5% of the assessable profit for annual assessments. The Green Chamber said it was aware that since the establishment of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund in 2011, the fund had earned trillions of naira as revenue. It alleged that the fund had suffered numerous financial abuses in its operations, award of contracts and execution of projects. Court joins Education Ministry to suit seeking to outlaw exam schools on Saturday. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has joined the Federal Ministry of Education to suit filed by a Seventh-day Adventist member, Ugochukwu Uchenwa, seeking the top conduct of examination and elections on Saturday. The court also involved the Council of Legal Education in the case, following an application by the plaintiff that the two agencies should be made parties in the suit. At the resumed hearing yesterday, counsel to the plaintiff, Benjamin Amefule, informed the court of a pending application for joinder. He said the request was filed on March 29. The lawyer told the court that he had attached relevant exhibits to show that the council conduct examinations on Saturdays. Amefule said the ministry was being joined because the examination conducting institutions are under it and as such has been expected to bar universities and other institutions of higher learning from conducting academic activities on non-academic days. He sought six reliefs, but the judge, Justice James Omotosho, granted only four. Those granted include an order of the Court General of Legal Education and the Federal Ministry of Education to the suit. NBTE seeks more funding for technical education. The National Board for Technical Education has appealed to the government to allocate more funds to technical education in the country. The Director of Polytechnic Programs (NBTE), Architect Mbede Ogo, made the plea when he led a team delegation for the resource inspection of 10 programs at the Federal Polytechnic Daura in Katsina State. He said the acquisition of skills has become the major requisite for every sustainable economic development of a nation and polytechnic education has often been seen as the best place for the youth to develop their skills and knowledge. This, according to him, explained the need to have more funding for polytechnics coupled with the cost of equipment so that more youth will be able to pick up the skills to sustain and develop themselves. Federal government urges youth to embrace technical education, 154,000 candidates writes NAPTEP. The federal government has reiterated that the world has moved beyond days of white-collar jobs as it urged parents and guardians to encourage their children and world to embrace technical education. Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, David Adejo said this yesterday after monitoring the ongoing National Business and Technical Examination Board in Abuja, in which 154,301 candidates enrolled for year 2023. Adejo, who expressed satisfaction with the general conduct of the examination, which began last week across the country, said Some registered students in some states were not allowed to write as the state government which registered them failed to release money for the examination. He regretted that some state governments were owing the examination body so much that a decision had been taken to recoup the sum. Adejo, however, refused to mention the state involved and the amount being owed by the examination body. ASU says the dissolution of governing councils is a setback for university education. The Academic Staff Union of Universities (ASUU) has faulted the decision of the federal government on the dissolution of the governing councils of all federal universities in the country. The union said that the move was inimical and a major setback toward the growth and development of university education in Nigeria. The chairman of the University of Jos chapter of the union, Dr. Chris Yilguan, stated this in an interview with the News Agency of Nigeria on Saturday in Jos. NAN reports that the National Universities Commission had on June 22 announced the dissolution of governing councils of all federal universities and boards of other agencies and parastatals in the country. Yilguan, who condemned the move, insisted that such a trend, if allowed to continue, would cripple the university system. Yilguan, the dissolution contravened the act establishing federal universities, adding that it will stagnate the program of the institutions. He appealed to the government at all levels to allow the universities to operate in accordance with the law establishing them. Thank you for staying tuned. This is the end of the edition of Education Telescope on Leadership TV. I am your host, Mariam Rabi. See you next week.
Be part of our brand.